Ain't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it now. It's your time, it's your time. Oh, if you're on the bus, say yeah. Yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah. Yeah. If you gotta walk, say yeah. Yeah. Everybody's going somewhere. Yeah. Young or old, I really don't care. Yeah. Life has never really been fair. Yeah. So put your fist up in the air. Yeah. Say yeah. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it out. It's your time, it's your time. Oh. Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my tell them it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all my spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty, talk about old.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nate Ivey with you in the air chair, broadcasting live from a secret location somewhere in the greater Cincinnati area. You don't need to know unless you need to know. Think of it as like a black man's bat cave, something like that. Good morning to you. Listen, if you want to share your thoughts this morning, you can always drop a comment in the chat section or a question, and I will respond. And or you can give us a call. This is like a traditional radio show in the sense where you can call into the show at 513-873-7134. It's the day before the first day of school, and I want to talk about what that means culturally. Things a little bit different in the land of Rona, okay? I want to give you something new this morning called the Rona Report, and I'll give you the updates on what's happening in terms of more of the serious news, and then, humans worse than COVID, because there's a lot of information and news out there. The latest as it relates to COVID has to do with babies and toddlers. Have you seen this, yo? Have you seen the latest? Man, it's crazy out here. Also, just yesterday, we got an update from the governor. And Mike DeWine, who has no spine, needs to lead and get off his damn knees, begging and pleading with Ohioans to do this. We tried this earlier in the year, Mike. We tried this last year. Begging Ohioans to do the right thing about COVID is not going to work. But that's the strategy of primarily the Republican governors. It's all about freedom of choice. I'm telling you something, man. Listen, when it comes to public health, I'm saying, listen, I'm always about civil liberties. I'm Mr. Civil Liberties over governmental interest. But this isn't a governmental interest. This is a health interest. Of the 3,235 state coronavirus cases reported this week, Mike DeWine said 1,500 people are hospitalized and 474 in the ICU. That's the highest numbers for cases and hospitalizations since February of this year. So we're moving in the wrong direction, fam. We're moving in all the wrong directions. And the reason why? Humans worse than COVID. Ohio's 7-day rolling average of daily new cases has more than doubled over the past 2 weeks. More than doubled. Mike DeWine said that all of Ohio's 88 counties are now areas of high transmission for the virus. All of them. All of them, courtesy of my friends over WCPO. All of them. Every last one of them. How are we moving in the wrong direction? Well, I'll tell you how. Humans worse than COVID. A new Canadian study has found that younger kids may pose a greater risk of passing the virus on to others than older children. This new Canadian study found that the transmission of COVID-19 in younger children may pose a greater risk of passing the virus on to siblings and caregivers than older children. According to the Journal of American Medical Association, researchers studied the household transmission of at least one secondary case of coronavirus, and this is what they found. So what does that tell me? What that tells me is that we really don't know what the hell is going on. That's what it tells me. I'm telling you, like once a month, there's some new study, if not twice per month, there's a new study scaring the hell out of people about some shit we didn't know. We had no idea. I'm like, yo, I can't be the only one seeing this. I can't be the only one seeing this. So I'll post a link and you can check it out for yourself. I'll put it inside the chat. You look at it and decide whether you think it's credible or not. I read this well, it was first reported in the New York Times, but then I read it on the Grio and kind of worked my way backwards. Check it out for yourself. We don't know what the hell is going on with coronavirus, to be honest with you. That's what they don't want to tell you. We don't have no idea. Like, we think we know, but we really don't know, quite honestly. And I say all of this the day before Cincinnati public schools are scheduled to go back. Are we ready? Are we prepared? How do you feel about it? Like, how do you honestly feel about your kids returning to school? Do you feel better about your kids returning to school now than you did about your kids returning to school at the end of school year last year? Like, how do you really feel about this? We've been talking about the busing issue, and it's like coronavirus is secondary. But in terms of the infection rate, the coronavirus is high as it's been since February. When back in February, coronavirus transmission was like the number one topic. That was back in February, March, when we was talking about the school board members, Melanie Bates and all that kind of stuff, and we was going back and forth about it. And the school board was having to make a decision as to whether they should go back to in-person school. The numbers are as high now as they were back then. But it feels like coronavirus as a story is sort of fading away. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. You tell me. Good morning to you. Oh, man. How do you feel about your children getting the vaccine? How do you feel about your children getting the vaccine? People in my family so funny, man. So as I said, my wife got the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine. I took the Pfizer vaccine. And I was talking with my little brother yesterday. Shout out to Remy. And that's just as how my family is, man. He's like, oh, you know that's the mark of the beast. So this is my little brother told me yesterday. Jesse, less than 24 hours ago, I was at his house. You know that's the mark of the beast. And all these like conspiracy theory folks, man, I just do one of these. Like, yeah, I hear you. You know that's the mark of it. My brother actually said that shit to me within the last 24 hours. I was at his house yesterday about 6:30. So about 13, 14 hours ago, this mofo, I'm standing in his front yard to myself, that's the mark of the beast. I just looked at him. It's like, this Negro, mark of the beast my ass. I hope not. Right? Like, for all the people that took the vaccine, when you got friends and family members, it's all like vaccine hesitant, or they vaccine conspirators or conspiracy theory enthusiasts, or whatever you want to call it. What am I supposed to do now? I'm too late for all that. We will see. We'll see what's going on. Queen Maxine writes, if this virus was as bad as they say, people would be falling like flies. Queen Maxine, some people have already fallen like flies. They already have. I just don't get it. I think maybe it's because of the fact that Donald Trump really did a number on us. It matters who the president is. And it matters, if for no other reason, because they can get a press conference and get international press. Like, the president, it matters what they say. Everybody pays attention to him. Donald Trump just fanned the flames of conspiracy theories and doubters and all kind of stuff. And then I think it's the other thing is it's the fast track through the FDA. I think those two things in combination it just was a bad deal. Because people take all kind of vaccines before they go to school. In most cases, they do. People take flu shot vaccines, but with this, it's different. And I get it. I understand it 100%. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just think the whole conversation, we should be having it, and it's very, very interesting. Like, how am I supposed to respond to a family member telling me, and he knows I've got the vaccine, that the vaccine is the mark of the beast? The fuck? What am I supposed to do with that, bro? I was like, okay, man. I was kind of in and out. I didn't have a lot of time, so we didn't have a lot of chance to talk about it, but okay. I'll say two things. Humans like to think we got everything figured out, and we don't know a damn thing. We don't know shit. We're not as smart as we think we are. We're not as smart as we think we are. We think we have got it all figured out. We got a couple of microscopes, some flashlights, and some tweezers, and we think we can figure anything. We're going to MacGyver this shit. We cannot MacGyver this. For those who know what that is. Television show. You should check it out. They tried to bring it back, but I mean, without the iconic, dude that played, it just wasn't working. So I wanted to show you that, Ohio is trending up, up, up in the wrong way when it comes to COVID. All of the counties are now areas of high transmission for the virus. Should we really be going back to school? Should we really be going back to school? Y'all already know if I was in charge, no, but I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge. And the difference between this school year and last school year, DeWine said, is the Delta variant. The similarities are humans worse than COVID. The higher viral load of the Delta variant makes transmission significantly easier, i.e. is more contagious. So we'll see what the impact is going to be in our schools, right? Because they swear up and down, kids can't give it to kids. Kids are so resilient. Well, this new Canadian study says something different. Truth be told, we don't know. That's the reality of it, my friends. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Hey, listen, take your phone out with me. Matter of fact, your phone's probably already out. You're probably watching on your phone. In fact, my numbers on my end say the vast majority of people are watching on their phones. So you're on your phone. Just hit me with a share real quick. Hit your boy with a share. It means everything. When you share the show, more people see it. Simple as that. When you share with your friends. Give your friends the gift of flow this morning. Mike DeWine needs to get off his knees and lead. I know it's hard for him because being on his knees is probably a very comfortable position for him. But stop begging Ohioans and start leading Ohioans. What we need a leader. Set the tone, set the policy. That's all we need. How many people love Oreo cookies? I know I'm switching rather abruptly, but I want to do this. Those chocolate sandwich cookies, you know what I'm saying? Ah, man, Oreos is like, that's like Americana. How many people over the years have enjoyed Oreo cookies? I'd like to get your thoughts on that. I'm leading you somewhere. I'm not just bringing it up for the hell of it. I've actually got a point I want to share with you. What the hell? I've actually got a point I want to share with you in just a moment. But again, take a second to please like and share the show. Now, we have an early call. Let's take it. I'm down with the calls. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan, it's Tracy. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Tracy.
I want to tell you this real quick before I go into work. I guess all of our districts have a share of their problems with the bus company, and I'm not trying to compare apples and oranges, but let me tell you what happened to my son this morning, and I just posted it on my page. So Monday was his first day of school. My child has switched, and he's a student at Scarlet Oaks now, taking up digital arts and design. And so Monday was the first day of school. We're at the bus stop. I just always go to the bus stop just in case there's problems. I know he's 17, but it is what it is. He's not driving to school, so I have to make sure he gets there. Go ahead, car. So the bus passes him up. We're like, okay, what the hell? And I called the bus company, and she said, oh, the bus company, they're just doing a test run today. Well, I wish his bus pass would have said that, because now he doesn't have a ride to school, which, thank God, my brother-in-law took him and my niece to school. So Tuesday he gets on the bus 702, which is what the bus pass said. His bus comes at 702 at the top of the street, and it was fine. The whole day went without incident. He got on the bus. He got off the bus when he came home. Today we go to the bus stop. I drop him off, and I'm in a hurry because I got some stuff to do before work, and there's no bus. And I said, call your cousin, see where the bus is. He yells out to me, she said the bus is already at Scarlet Oaks. This is at 702. I called the bus company. Excuse me, ma'am, where the hell is the bus? Why is it not at the top of our street at 7:02 like his bus pass says? Oh, his bus now comes at 6:47 a.m. Well, when did you all notify us that by mail or by text or by email? She hangs up on me. I'm like, oh, this what we doing? So I call back, sends me the voicemail, call back again, sends me the voicemail. So my son texts me, so-and-so's mom was riding by and they saw me standing outside because her son didn't get on the bus either. So she gave me a ride. Mom, where's the bus? Said, your bus comes 15 minutes early now, or 17 minutes, whatever the math is. So guess I'm going to have a conversation with the bus company today. And I'm really not trying to compare this situation to Metro, but the whole premise of everything and the underlying theme is lack of communication. Yeah, we got it too. So I'm going to report back to see why they didn't send out any notification. They just switched it in 24 hours. I guess, doing the test run, they might have found that they needed to go earlier, but they didn't tell us nothing. So I'll let you know what comes of this because, I'm not going to let it go this morning. I'm like a dog on a bone. I'm so pissed right now. It's just crazy. And it wouldn't be a problem if he was in the district, of course, and could get somewhere faster. But Scarlet Oaks is like 10, 15 minutes away from my house, in the morning traffic. So I'll let you know what happens. But I just wanted to get that ran off this morning.
I appreciate you sharing that. So damn disrespectful. Thanks for the call,
All right,
Tracy.
have a good one.
Like I'm saying, communication, man, is such a lost art. It is such a lost art. Like, why is it so hard to do basic communication? People be straight hypocrites. Like, if you're on a job and the bosses or whoever, the supervisor of your position, fails to communicate to you, you'll be up in arms. You'd be up in arms. You'd be ready to call the EEOC. You know what I'm saying? And then some of these same folks will be in jobs and will fail to communicate with their customers or constituents or whatever. It's just a slap in the face, man. All people be looking for is a little bit of communication. A little bit of communication. That's all they looking for. Nothing more than that. Speaking of the busing situation, I want to play this for you. This is a clip. This is a clip of Alicia Reese talking with the head of SORTA. Have you seen this? Oh, yeah. We got to look at this. And she let them know. She was running them down, asking all very good questions, being very professional, in my opinion. Being very professional, but asking some tough questions. And I think for people that live in Cincinnati and you're touched by this, if you haven't seen, so if you don't know, there's a video feed of the proceedings of the Hamilton County commissioners. Right now, you have 3 females on the Hamilton County commissioners, which is historic. We need that female energy because men have effed up this country. I'll say it again. Men have effed up the country with their egos and their little petty issues and their penis issues, have messed shit up. We need some women to be running shit for a while. I like the fact that we have 3 females who are 3 women who are the Hamilton County commissioners. That's just me. Okay, I'm just to add that little caveat. But so you might have missed this, but I saw this on Alicia Reese's IG and I thought, we got to play this tomorrow and talk about it because she asked for and received some very interesting responses from the leader of SORTA. I don't know if he's doing any interviews with media, but he has to talk with the Hamilton County commissioners. And here's what happened. Let me play this for you. We got to talk about this, yo. We got to talk. Check this out.
We got all these boards. And then when they get on the board, they don't have no authority. So we've got this tax levy money running out here.
And just letting again, nobody's perfect. And it's rare for me to agree with somebody all the time, but I thought that Alicia Reese asked some very just common sense questions. This shit wasn't even nothing like no super over the top, like some shit you wouldn't even think of. This is just some real basic questions that she was asking and some real basic observations. And I appreciate that. Thank you for the shares, everybody. I like to try to get about 50 shares per show. You know what I'm saying? Good morning. Hold on before we play that. All right, there we go. So she starts out with some really basic observations about what's the point of having somebody on the board? They don't have no power, blah, 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 blah. Some things came out of it. And there was one thing that came out of it that I thought was really, really, really interesting, right? For people who are like, well, why is it so difficult for Sorter just to go back? There might be some logistic issues, but it's possible. And it comes out in this interview. Check this out.
Well, did the board know about this? I think we're backwards. We run out here and we say we got all these boards. And then when they get on the board, they don't have no authority. So we've got this tax levy money running out here that we only won by 625 votes. That's almost 50% of the people wasn't for it, 50% was for it. They got hit with COVID, and we made a lot of promises, and that's why I want to make sure on these levies that we're being honest. I don't think we overdid. I think we got to be honest. And I think that if we have a board, there's no sense of having a board if they ain't got no power. We don't want no board over there just window dressing, and then we're not checking no boxes. So one, we want to look at the administrator and sort of to look at, we need to rework the power of the board. Because we can't go out here telling citizens that we got citizen control and citizens input and citizen this and that, and find out that all we're doing is window dressing. I don't do window dressing. We did get a letter from the chair of the board. I was reading through it, so somebody knew about something. But anyway, we got some letter here, and I think it's backwards to just be there. I'm going to accept some comments, but I can't do nothing about the comments. That's not what I'm interested in. That's not a relationship I want to have.
All right, let me stop right there. I agree 1,000%. How you going to make the decision and then open it up for public comment? See, that's the Cincinnati way. Do as I say, not as I do. We're going to dictate to you what we're going to do. Even though we're supposed to get comment from you, but we'll take the comment, but the comments don't mean a damn thing. And we'll sit there and roll our eyes and look at our phones and pacify you. We'll pacify you, and then we'll do exactly what we want to do. See, that's that Cincinnati way that needs to end.
And then we are held accountable. We're accountable to the voters.
So our board.
So wait, let me finish. So with that being said, you having a comment section after the contract was signed. Am I correct, or was that before the contract?
The contract was signed 4 years ago. This is a 5-year contract. This is the last year of that 5-year contract. This is not a new contract.
Okay, so what comments are you accepting if it was already done? If it was already done, why are people upset?
Whenever we have a public meeting, this is a federal law. Whenever we have a public meeting, those comments from that public meeting has to go back to our board. Now, our board then has the ability to talk through those public comments and direct us to do something different than we're recommending. But we have to take the public comments back to our board so the board knows what the public has said. And again, they then have the ability to direct us to do something different.
Okay, so let's take a step back. So the board, I want to go back to Commissioner Driehaus. She said the board didn't know anything about it. They didn't, to their defense. You're saying that with these comments, that these parents, and I even got bus drivers, parents and bus drivers who were saying this, and let me say I am a product of the Cincinnati Public Schools. I rode the bus, so I'm not on here talking about something I don't know. You're saying that if this board comes back and says, you know what, we're seeing these comments, no, we want to do a new contract to continue service like we've been doing with Cincinnati Public Schools, you're saying that's possible?
If the board directs us to do so, yes, but what that would mean is a complete redesign of our entire system. It could not happen overnight, and because of the labor challenges that we have, it would come with a significant cut to our regular service, which would create challenges for people to get to work, for people to get to health care. And with that service cut, it would create challenges for the CPS students to get to school, because remember, 33% of the CPS students already ride our regular service. And because of the operator challenge that we have, the operator shortage that we have, What it would mean is cuts in service in all of our service in the community.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get all of that. I'm not going to play the entire video because we don't need to do all of that. I'll post a link and you can check it out for yourself. That's on Alicia Reese's IG page. But my issue is the timing of the communication. It's just like what Tracy called in and said that, the bus service that provides buses for her son didn't communicate changes in days and times. Meanwhile, you got people out there at the wrong time missing the bus. This shit matters. This is a lack of basic communication skills. That's what the issue is. We should have ended last year with a conversation about how we were going to begin this year. Is that too hard? Why is that so fucking hard? Why is that so hard? Why was it end of July and not like, the beginning of June? I think that's all people were looking for is just more communication. I think that was it. That's it. I think that's the only thing that people were looking for. They're looking for somebody to communicate with them and say, look, here's the time frame, and give it to people in a way in which is timely enough that they can do something about it. Like, people understand the shortages and this, blah, 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 boop, 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 we understand all of that. But what we don't understand and cannot accept is this last minute shit. When people take your time for granted, it makes me feel like they don't respect you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody take my time for granted. They just think I can just do whatever. They can just roll in whatever time or whatever. I mean, wait a minute. What am I? I'm just sitting around waiting for you to tell me? Hell no. Sean writes, yes, why are children going back to school? Because, and again, I would say the same thing with CPS. Now, I'll admit I have stepped away from the flow of information a bit, and I'm about to plug back in as I start to prepare for these CPS candidates. I want to be over-prepared. And also for city council, I want to be over-prepared so that I can, ask the questions that need to be asked and search for the answers that we need. But again, CPS, I feel like there's more information we haven't gotten from them. See, remember, there was a majority of the board, or a lot of members on the board, who expressed that they felt like kids being in school was better than kids not being in school, right? And I don't know if that's true academically. Like, I haven't looked at the numbers academically. I don't know if children have academically done as well as they did during COVID, as they did in the years before COVID. I don't know that. People talk about the social and emotional well-being. I think there's something to that 100%. But I still think I haven't seen enough information to convince me that it's like 100%, like it's a no-brainer. I know that the Cincinnati Enquirer editorial staff recently wrote a piece about how kids need to be in school, and that's cool. They're entitled to their opinion. I can understand it on some levels. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it per se. Here it is. When the school bell rings this year, kids should be in class. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, we'll see. I mean, if everything was the same, yeah. And if everything was the same, yeah. But I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I would caution humans with their arrogance, thinking we got this all figured out. I would caution humans. I know humans love our arrogance. We put a man on the moon and some metal on Mars, so we think we're the masters of the universe. Got a couple microscopes and some heat lamps and a petri dish and some tweezers. Psh, we can figure anything out, right? It's the arrogance of humankind. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. The truth will set us free, right? We'll find out about that. But again, it's the day before school, and Medium Buddha is just super, super happy. Now, from a children's perspective, my children are happy about going to school. My daughter's doing the cheerleading thing, so she's so happy. She's gonna be able to wear a uniform, and she's excited to represent. And she's worked her way into some activities and shit that she likes like that. So she's excited. My son, he thinks it's gonna be an extension of summer camp, so he can't wait. He gets a chance to go to after school, so he's all excited about it. So from a kid perspective, from a children perspective, they Gucci. But as parents, we got to worry about all the other stuff, right? Brandy writes greetings. Hey, greetings to you, Brandy. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Glenn's in the house. What's up, Glenn? What up with you, bro? Anthony's in the house. He writes, good morning, Chop Shops. Good morning to you, Anthony. Samantha writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Samantha, as always. What's up? What's popping out there? Gail writes, good morning. Good morning, Gail. Charles writes, grand risings, Nate and the Choppers. What's up? What's up? What's up, people? Now, that conversation, as I understand it, took place back on the 10th, so a little bit over a week ago, but I get a feeling that everybody hasn't seen that because everybody doesn't plug into those live streams. I know Angela is real good about posting it in the Friends page and other pages on Facebook. I appreciate her for that because I do. It is a resource. And again, you can sit at home and watch all this shit. Now, some of it gets a little bit dense and they might talk for a couple of hours and only 5 minutes is the really stuff that you really want to get into. That's where I come in to break it all down for you so you don't have to do all of that. Nat writes, good day, Choppers. Good hump day, he says. Queen Maxine's in the house. She writes, grand risings, everyone. Hashtag good vibes. Oh, absolutely. Nothing but good vibes. Great to be alive. Great to be with you. 100%. 100%. All this stuff about boosters, I ain't feeling no boosters. I took 2 shots. If that ain't covering it, unless something drastic happens, I'm Gucci, I think. I'm Gucci. Governor DeWine asked schools to consider mask mandates, but he's not going to put a mask mandate on the schools. Cowardice. That's all that is. Damn, we deserve a better governor. We do. Now, I don't know if the candidates will be better than him. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. You tell me. You tell me, 513-873-7134. There it is. I put the number out and appreciate you. All right, let's get back to it. Jerome writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Senator Ronald Lackey's in the house. He writes, good morning. Let me see. Patricia writes, right. My sister worked at a daycare. 5 children tested positive for COVID 2 weeks ago. The daycare opened back up this week, right? I mean, because the daycare got to make that money. They can't afford to stay closed for too long. It just seems like a lot of what they told us about COVID, and again, I don't think it was a lie. I think as more information comes in, they've got more time to do research. They're getting more information. Nikki writes, good morning, everyone. Charles writes, the vaccine isn't the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast biblically is tied to financials and admissions. I don't know what my little brother was talking about. Yesterday, he told me, I told him I got the vaccine. He's like, that's the mark of the beast. I just looked at my little bro like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do with that now? Let's say hypothetically you're correct. I guess I'm just SOL, huh? Thanks, bro. Damn. Like, if you're vaccinated and you got family members that's all on some anti-vax conspiracy shit, and they love to tell you about it, like, well, my brother-in-law, he sent me something about, it was some old, I could tell from just the cover that it was one of those YouTube channels that's like into the conspiracy theories, the mark of the beast. Did you know that? They're putting fluoride in the vaccine. What's up? Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see. Joe writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Sean writes, yes. Why are children going back to school, I think? Read it already. Nikki writes, I do. Yeah. Patricia writes, I don't like chocolate. You don't like chocolate? Huh? Black women don't like chocolate. What do you mean you don't like chocolate? What's that mean? I'm joking with you, Pat. I brought that up, man, because, I don't really eat Oreos or anything like that now. But over the years, when I was younger, hell yeah, man, with some cookies and some milk. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, hell yeah, I was smashing them. And, I'm sure it's a lot of adults that love them Oreo cookies, man. They love them. Well, now hundreds of workers who make and deliver Oreo cookies, I got a reason why I'm telling you this, and Ritz crackers have gone on strike. It's a massive shutdown of the Nabisco parent company, Mondelez. The work stoppage and 24-hour picket lines began at a production facility in Portland, Oregon last week. It's now spread around the country. They got distribution hubs in Aurora, Colorado, in Richmond, Virginia, all over the country, and workers are saying enough is enough. And what are they upset with? Well, Mondelez, which is the parent company that produces these products, is demanding changes to pay and healthcare coverage that would undermine the current coverage and pay that the workers are experiencing. Essentially, they want to take more from the workers. So the workers are on strike. Yeah. Good old-fashioned, the bosses want more and the people want more. The workers want more. Good old-fashioned. I'll keep my eyes on this because this could have an impact on maybe some of the goodies that you like, and or it's just another example of the ongoing battle between the haves and the have-nots in this country. Have you paid attention to this at all? It's getting real out here, man. And I'll say it again, man. I have no issues whatsoever. In fact, I think unions do exactly what they're supposed to do. They protect workers. Right? There's a connection between the decline in wages and the decline in union membership, in my humble opinion, in this country. But what do you think? Are you in a union? Have you ever been in a union? You ever had a union job? If so, what's the difference between being in a union and a non-union job? Right? I'd love to get your insights on that. 513-873-7134. Daryl writes, good morning, Nathan Shoppers. Good morning to you. Jerome writes, good morning, Nathan Shoppers. See, Nikki writes, go ahead, car. Sounds like me. Right. Sounds like me too. I don't mess with these people in these tinted windows. I told you yesterday, worst drivers in Cincinnati, folks with tinted windows. Yo writes, I'd be going up there ASAP. Deborah writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Sean writes, communication and at least some decent customer service. Absolutely. And I want to tell you, Sean, I took your advice. I went over to that park, man. I like it. I wish they had that set up at every single park in Cincinnati. Cincinnatians would be healthier. Yeah, it was pretty. I'm going to put that in my circuit. I went over there a couple times. The first time I took my son, he was on the playground, and I was getting it in with the pull-up bar. Ronald writes, major shout out to Alicia Reese. Absolutely. Asking just common sense questions. Just asking basic common sense questions like, explain this to us. Make this make sense.
So it would create challenges for the entire community.
But you already making cuts. I mean, I know you're giving me the gloom and doom, and because you got your reinvent Metro. Well, reinvent did not mean cutting. It meant expanding in my mind. Yes. So my question.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, I'm with her 100%. Reinvention, to me, the way it was sold with this levy was expansion, not cutting. And if you're going to cut anything, why are you cutting something as critical as the busing for students? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
outside of, so number one, the board can go against what you recommended. That's what you just said.
Yes.
So that's number one. So board do got some power. Number two, my thing was we just coming back to school. We got the mask, we got mask, no mask, we got vaccine, Delta's jumping through the roof. We've got kids going to school, parents concerned, and in the midst of that, you make a major change. Could they, and to me, I think this is something that should be planned out a year. So in other words, this year we would keep what we got and then start planning whatever change that would be possible.
Now, why wasn't that done? I agree again. That's the kind of thing you roll out over a length of time so people can get used to it. I mean, you got a policy in place for 4 decades. There's a lot of people who don't even live for 4 decades. And you do this abruptly 3 weeks before school. All excellent observations, in my opinion.
Because this is a lot of changes that parents got to deal with. So if you're saying...
And here's what I'd like to know. And I don't know how we would get this information. What I'd like to know is, How many members of the sorter board have children in CPS? I'd like to know that. I think that's a very fair question. How many members of the sorter board have children that attend CPS? How many of them are going to be personally affected by this? I'd like to know that. Now, SORTA, of course, services all of Hamilton County. We get it. But just on this, I'd like to know. And what they find, what comes out in this conversation, what she's digging for is the fact that the board has the power to ignore the recommendation and then to force Metro to go back. Now, it'll take some time. They'll have to logistically get some things in order. But I just want people to understand that. The board, the SORTA board could decide, they could vote and say, you know what, we don't want your recommendation. We want to go back to where it was. And then that's what would happen. It wouldn't happen overnight, but it would take some months, maybe. Maybe it would take 4 or 5 months. It would take some months, but that is a possibility. And that's what she was drilling down to in this conversation.
And that you couldn't even extend a year and do proper planning and partnerships to phase it in?
Because of the challenges with the labor shortage that we're facing, again.
Can you expand on what the labor shortage is? Where were you and where are you now as far as staff?
We were at 500 operators. We're now down, and it changes on a daily basis. We're now down to about 470 operators. The other thing we're facing, because...
Okay, so what did he just say? Let me back up here. That was Stephanie Summerall Dumas. Let me go back here because I want to make sure I got the numbers right.
We're now down to about 400.
Phase it in?
Because of the challenges with the labor shortage that we're facing, again.
Can you expand on what the labor shortage is? Where were you and where are you now as far as staff?
We were at 500 operators. We're now down, and it changes on a daily basis. We're now down to about 470.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed AF. Wait a minute. Wait the fuck a minute. You telling me that y'all changed a 4-decade agreement because you lost 30 bus drivers? 30? $30. 30. What am I missing? What am I missing? You impacted several thousand families in Cincinnati, over 30 bus drivers, and y'all got millions of dollars and y'all can't come up with an incentive to get 30 bus drivers? Unacceptable. 30. I thought y'all was down like 100 or something, the way they talking like, oh, he's a driver. 30. Make this make sense, people. I thought they was down like 100 or something bus drivers. The way they talk, oh, it's a bus driver shortage. 30. And y'all got millions of dollars coming in. Stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks, and y'all can't come up with an incentive program to get 30 bus drivers. You can't make this up. 30. I had to do a double take when I heard it this morning. Like, wait a minute, what did he just say? What did he just say? This man said 30. They talking down like they down 300 bus drivers. Oh, it's a bus driver shortage. It's a bus driver shortage. I'm thinking we down like 100 plus bus drivers. 30 bus drivers. And y'all got millions of dollars coming in guaranteed. And y'all can't come up with an incentive package to entice 30 bus drivers to maybe leave the yellow bus drive service to come over to Metro. And this is okay. Absolutely ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is a travesty. Absolute travesty. 30 bus drivers, y'all. They've been running around here talking about, oh, it's a bus driver shortage. This is some of that bullshit. Oh, this is a bus driver shortage. I'm thinking you down like big time. Big time. 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then all the way to 30. That's it. That is amazing.
The operators. The other thing we're facing because of the COVID situation is our absenteeism rate is somewhere between 17 and 20%. So you're dealing with a shortage of operators and increased absenteeism rate.
What is the absenteeism rate normally, though? See, that's the real question. Don't just tell me what the absenteeism rate is now, but what is it normally? Because, you know, with people getting sick and, you know, people retiring and just people going on vacation, you know, people going to call off work. What's that normal number? That way we can properly, you know, gauge what the real damage is per se. But 30 bus drivers?
Due to illness. So you don't have enough operators to run the service. And again, I'll remind you all that in April and May, and I'm not talking about all trips, I'm talking about just the extra service trips. We miss between 300 and 400 trips a month. In May, I believe, overall in the system, we missed about 1,700 trips in May, meaning...
I hear it, man. I'm hearing all this. We miss, we can't. Where are the doers? Let's get Jeff Birding on this. Jeff Birding can make this happen. Jeff Birding can sell ice to Eskimos. Jeff Birding is a I can't get it done type of man. Let's get Jeff on this. I'm sure he'll get in a room with some of his people and he'll come up with a plan, lickety split, just like they did with those stadiums that we didn't need. Where are the doers? Where are the get shit doners? I hear all this, what you can't do and what our limitations are. Let's get this happening. Let's make this happen. 30 bus drivers, y'all. And I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the protracted, you know, media campaign where Metro is going super hard and aggressive to try to attract bus drivers. I opened up my Herald and I saw a full page ad, you know, props to them. I ain't seen no super, super big aggressive push to attract drivers. Then they do a better job at Uber drivers. Put some money on the table. Put some incentives on the table. And guess what? People will leave them yellow, not trying to take anything from the yellow bus drivers, but people will leave what they doing. They'll be like, and they'll come over. I haven't seen that. Maybe we'll see it now in the near future. They should have been did all this shit, man. They should have been did all that. 30 bus drivers. Wow. That's a very precarious situation right there for bus drivers. Again, I guess. What do I know? But that's the video I wanted to show you. Again, that conversation took back on the 10th, so some of y'all might be hip to it. I wanted to put it out there to the larger audience and just talk about a little bit. So a couple things we found out. Number one, the Metro board could make a decision and switch things back if they wanted to, you know, in total, not individual. And then all of this is because of 30 bus drivers. Like, are you surprised to hear that? That surprises me because they talk like, we got a bus driver shortage. Okay, I'm thinking you down like 100. You down like 100 plus? 30 bus drivers. Okay. Crystal writes, good morning. Hey, good to see you, Crystal, as always. Anthony writes, if we were smart, we push this sister to run for governor. Alicia Reese would be an excellent governor. Yo writes, replying to Anthony, she's definitely for us 100%. Speaking of Alicia Reese, Brandy writes, good morning. TNT writes, Alicia Reese is the truth. TNT writes, I literally received bus information for my son yesterday. Jenny writes, it's a lack of caring. They know how to communicate, right? They know how to communicate amongst themselves or when they want something to be communicated to them. But when it comes to us, it's like, well, you know, we'll tell you when we tell you. At least we told you before school started. And you're supposed to be happy with that. Bunky Bionic writes, what's up, Nathan Choppers? And a special good morning to the Biden sexuals of the Chop Shop, and especially you vaccinated Popeye chicken sandwich eating vax, the blacks boule bandits. Damn, Bunky. Vaccinated Popeye's chicken sandwich eating Vax the Blacks Boule bandits. Vax the Blacks Boule bandits. Okay. Akeem writes, isn't Cam an advocate for Metro? Has he turned cricket? Well, Cam is an advocate for Metro, but remember, it was Fame that tried to blame Cam. He tried to blame this on Cam, and then I tried to hold the brother accountable and give him an opportunity to stand up like a man, but he just wouldn't take it. He wouldn't apologize to Cam. He was running around here talking about, oh, that was Cam Hardy. And he helped pass his levy. And when they did that's what led to this. To this point, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't see it. But that has nothing to do with the lack of communication from Metro to CPS and CPS parents whatsoever. But Cam's out there, man. Find him on Twitter. Eloise writes, good morning. If your community is not a high spread one. Marisha writes, good morning. Good to see you, Marisha. Woody writes, happy risings, brother Nathan and the Choppers. Well, good to see you as well. Good to see you. I love the early rises, man. I love being up early. Good morning to you. It's a beautiful thing. Russell writes, grand risings, Nathan. Good morning to you. Terrence writes, he's not legally able to do so, so he says. Who is that, Cam? Sean writes, Mark of the Beast. Yeah, my brother told me just yesterday, I'm in my little brother's house. We grew up together. Hell, I changed his boy's diapers. I watched him. Got the nerve to tell me, and he knows I'm vaccinated. Got the nerve to tell me, well, you know that vaccination is the mark of the beast. I'm like, bro, where's that leave me at now? Where am I at now, bro? The mark of the beast, my ass. I don't believe it. What's up, CDM in the house? It's the mark of the beast. That's what Bunky says. It's the mark of the beast, huh? Okay, Bunky. You sound about like a little bro, man. Oh, man. You tired of kind of black folks. Lynn Love's in the house. She writes, good morning, great people. Good to see you, Lynn. TNT writes, people power will become more prevalent, and actions like this will become the norm when people free themselves of fear. People power will become more prevalent, and action like this will become the norm when people free themselves of fear. Okay, maybe. Terrence writes, the difference between a union job versus non-union jobs, wages, benefits, and worker protections. You can demand to bargain. Absolutely. We should all be so lucky. Sean writes, yes, we need a petition for all city parks to be updated with workout equipment. They are all over New York City. Yeah, we talked about that, man. And I've been giving thought to that. I mean, I know some people are already on top of that because they got it over there at that park over on the over in Northside. But just how dope would that be if it was in every park, man? I'm telling you, there's people that will work out free. All you need is the ground, gravity, and a bar to get fit. That's all you need. The ground and a bar. That's it. And you can get super shredded. Woody writes, union pipe fitter since 1975, retired, living the diamond life. Great to hear that, Woody. Listen, what I understand in my first, we talking about this whole, we're talking about labor in America, which is always going to be an issue for people that have to work and are in employment situations. But the people behind the Oreo cookies, the workers that produce and distribute that product, are staging boycotts in some of the distribution hubs around the country. And it's because the bosses want to take from them. They want to take some of the money from them. And so now people are protesting, which is going to be an age-old conversation. My grandfather migrated from the South, never graduated from high school. I think the highest he went was either the 3rd grade or the 6th grade, somewhere around there, he told me, because he had to leave school to work for his family. You heard that story many times before. Your grandfather or great-grandpeoples, your peoples probably had a very similar experience. So he migrated from the South, came up north of the Ohio River, looking for opportunities. Again, black man, and without a high school diploma. But that was different times then. My grandfather was ambidextrous. He could do things, the same things with both hands. It was the craziest thing in the world to watch. Right? He could write with both hands. He could do both things with both hands. It was like I said, it was the craziest shit. And he went to work as a construction worker and helped to build, 75, 71, but he was in a union. And so he was able to retire. And again, I say this story all the time. Like my earliest memories of my grandfather, he was on some chilling every day in a bathrobe type shit. Now he didn't wear a bathrobe. He used to get dressed with like a not a tie, but like slacks, belt, loafers, and a dress shirt every day. That was what he wore every day. And my earliest memory of him was him just chilling at home, just going to the ponies, working on his house, working on the car, painting, hanging out with his friends, just chilling. And I'm like, damn, how do you have a home and we got food and you just chilling every day? And as I got older, he used to explain to me, I was retired. I did all that. And because of his union, he was able to buy a couple homes, black man, and maintain, I would say, a lower middle class lifestyle until he died. Union allowed him to do that with no high school education. Again, we should all be so lucky. Let me go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52, also known as the Black Not Democrat. How you doing, sir?
I'm excellent, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Very interesting topic about unions, and I would like to throw my 2 cents in the pot. Mr. Ivey, I joined the military in 1980 at the spry young age of 20, and I served 7 years. And then I got out, and in less than a year, I started working for the United States Postal Service, which is a union environment. And what I experienced, Mr. Ivey, going from the military, which is definitely not a union environment, everything is based on the individual, and that individual can be successful in light of his other members of the military who aren't carrying their load or doing what they're supposed to do. Those individuals are weeded out. But in the union environment, it's totally opposite. You lose your individuality and you become part of a group. So when the union contract comes up, everybody gets a raise. Even that sorry ass coworker who don't do his job, who shows up late every day, who brings more work to his fellow coworker, because this individual is lazy and he knows the union contract. He knows what he can get away with, while everybody else is a company man. Yes, I'm for the company, but their individual abilities, their individual contribution to the company is not recognized, except for occasional certificate or an occasional little cash prizes and things like that. But overall, in a union environment, the individual who shines loses that individuality in exchange for the better good of the entire group. So basically, it's like if you work for a union environment or a union company and you're doing all these things for the company, you're not going to be able to get moved ahead of everybody else unless you switch over to management, which is basically non-union, and you're evaluated on your individual abilities. So that was my experience, Mr. Ivey. I adjusted, I adapted to it. I learned the union, the collective bargaining agreement. I learned it every 5 years. You know, we had a vote for the union. So I never attended union meetings. I paid my union dues, but when I got in trouble, I basically knew how to handle myself, and I didn't need a union rep to be in the office with me. So that's my take on the union, Mr. Ivey. It's so for some people.
Can I ask you a quick question? Are you for or against unions? Do unions benefit workers, yes or no, in your opinion?
Yes, it does, because the story you gave of your grandfather is 100% correct. And for somebody like me, I didn't want to be in management. Okay, I was happy where I was at because I had a plan. I was on a mission, and I took advantage of the union because there were a lot of people that worked in the union environment, and they thought that their individual abilities was going to help them excel. But all it did was cause other people to call them a suck up, because everybody knew, I don't care how much extra work you did for the boss, it ain't going to help you get a raise or anything like that. You're going to have to wait until the union contract, just like everybody else. So, but yeah, I agree. Yes, the union, it does help people who don't have college degrees, don't have a lot of skills. A union can allow you to do your 25, 30 years and come out at a fairly young age, as long as that job didn't destroy your body physically. But yeah, I agree, mate. Yeah, union is good, but it's not for everybody. If you're one of those individual entrepreneurs, hard driving people, union is not for you. You're not going to like it.
All right, brother. Thanks for
All
the
right. All right, you're welcome. Drop Squad 52. Not dropping science today. Just giving my opinion. Peace out, y'all.
Appreciate it. Look at him, a rather subdued, rather calm drop. Huh. That's calm drop. Huh. I don't know. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. I'm so used to him being amped up and going hard about Biden or Donetta, Danita, right? Or the Chop Shop Overseer, which is hilarious every time he says that, Chop Shop Overseer. Let us move on. 513-873-7134. This is your morning destination for interesting conversation. And I like to talk about people. I'm a people watcher at core. I like to talk about politics because they govern so much of our lives. And I like to talk about pleasure. And pleasure encompasses all of the things that adults are into and all the things that give us, they bring us joy, right? That includes music and culture, the arts, things like that, movies. I talk about it all here. So let's talk a little pleasure for a second. I'm into this idea. Have you heard this latest idea? I love this idea, actually. Now, how many people are hip to the versus battle? I know you're like, Nate, everybody is. Okay, but I had to pose it that way. All right. The versus battle. Not everybody's hip to it. If you haven't hip to it, essentially it's like you get to similar recording artists and they quote unquote battle. And basically it's like a concert where they go one after the other. So you'll get I think the most recent one was the Diplomats and the Locks. And they'll just go through their greatest hits, performing it live on stage. It's streamed online, and the vast majority of people watch it. It's like a whole new platform that was started by Switch Beats and Timbaland, and then they sold it to Triller. So Triller now owns it, and they still have some day-to-day dealings with it. But this is interesting. Fans are buzzing all over the internet because Damon Wayans, who is a comic, has now called out fellow comedian Dave Chappelle. He says he wants to see him in a versus battle. And I was like, yo, I ain't even think you could do that. Wait a minute. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. It don't have to just be music. It can be comedy as well. You can do comics. They can both do sets, and then the audience can decide side by side. I think it's a super dope idea. I would like to see this. Now, both of these men are very, very fabulous entertainers. And for me personally, I've been entertained by their comedy over the years on multiple platforms, movies, television shows, specials, the whole 9 yards. Okay. But I like to know what you think in a heads up versus battle. Who do you think would? Well, number one, would you like to see this? Because I would. I'm here for this. This would be different. I don't watch every versus battle because sometimes I don't care about the artist. I'm sure you're the same way. If it's an artist I care about, I'm like, I'll tap into it. But this, I think, would be super, super interesting. Super interesting. And if they're doing stand-up comedy, man, I don't know. Like, part of me feels like I'm a Dave Chappelle type dude. So I'm pulling for Dave. Not pulling for, but I think Dave in a stand-up scenario would be better. Maybe in a sitcom scenario, Damon Wayans would be better. And I don't think we give enough props to the Wayans family, man. The whole family is tight in the comedy game, the whole family. But if this versus battle happens, would you watch it? And number two, who do you think would win? Like a comedy battle? I think I like that idea. I think I'm here for that. But I'm curious as to what you think. Have you heard about this? Now, Damon Wayans went on a radio show. He was on a morning show down in Houston, Texas. This just happened on Friday. 97.9 The Box all of these radio stations are like the Box or the Beats or the Wiz or, those kind of things. They all do this. And it's smart marketing, 2 words. And usually the word is like something that's kind of catchy that some of you can remember. But Damon Wayans wants all the verses smoke with Dave Chappelle. And I think that would be very, very interesting. I think that'd be very interesting. I'd be with that. And again, if I had to bet, like if you could bet on these kind of things, I'd put my money on Dave Chappelle. But I wouldn't be surprised if Damon Wayans shines through because the brother's super dope and talented, especially with the stand-up, super hilarious. But back to your chat here. Let me catch up. Excuses are tools of incompetence. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The Whitehawks will make it happen, Captain. Yeah, any problem we have in Cincinnati, I'm inclined to allow Jeff Birding to deal with it. He seems to be a man that's capable of making the impossible happen. So I think we should put it in his hands. That's what I think. Janice writes, have they met with their employees to see why they are out so often? Stress, working conditions, etc. I don't know that. I was blown away when this man said that they're down 30 bus drivers. And because they're down 30 bus drivers, now maybe I'm wrong, but that seems like a small number. If every bus driver represents a route, okay, maybe I see it, but that seems like to me, that seems like a small number. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how long it takes to train bus drivers. There's a lot of information outside of my knowledge, but I thought we was down like 130 bus drivers. When this man said, well, we're usually at 500, right now we at 470, I could have fell out of my chair. I'm like, what did he say? He said, what? Mike writes, y'all missed that many trips and got a bunch of levy money. That's wild. The county is being robbed. Take that money you got, was it 100 million a year guaranteed, something like that? Take the money and put some incentives, put some respect on that check. Put some respect on that check for the Metro drivers. That's all it will take. Put some respect on that check for the Metro drivers, and Metro drivers will magically appear. That's what I think. Samantha writes, there is a bus driver shortage. However, they were short-staffed prior to issue 7 being staffed. Sean writes, 30 bus drivers march. He writes, Alicia Reese would be an amazing governor. Janice writes, what if bus drivers went on strike? Anthony writes, they probably have 30 people in the office doing nothing that could be driving buses. But I'm sure they got jobs themselves that help with the operation of Metro. So, again, I'll take them for their word, but I thought, am I the only one that thought that was a small number, or am I just ignorant of just how impactful one bus driver can be? So they're losing 30 bus drivers. That's got a huge impact, and I'm just ignorant of it. I don't know. Susan writes, a generous enough sign-on bonus would likely have fixed that deficit lickety split. Right. It worked with the Uber drivers. Take a page from Uber. Sean writes, Black people, please get your vitamin D levels up. Winter is fast approaching. Get as much sun as possible or take your vitamin D supplements. Vitamin D converts into a much-needed hormone that is very beneficial to our Black African bodies. He's right about that. Nat writes, so they got bus drivers driving all day with road rage trying to get overtime. Maurice writes, I heard people have died even after being vaccinated. Bunky writes, just informing you vaccines that your booster shots will be administered old school style, a jab in the ass. I'm just saying. What? A jab in the ass. Kamara writes, good morning. Good to see you, Kamara. All right, we ain't doing that. I had to do that myself. Tanika writes, good morning, Nathan Chavez. Unions serve a valuable purpose in protecting the employees. They can be a hindrance too. Got to take the good with the bad. Lynn writes, 100% for unions. I'm a retired union member. My parents were union workers also. I hear a lot of people, most of the people I hear are retired today were either entrepreneurs or members of unions. Like all the people that I know in my circle that are in my friendship sphere that are retired were either entrepreneurs or members of unions. All of them. Anthony writes, 10 more years till my pension. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, Nate. I'm jelly, Anthony. Enjoy it, bro. Janice writes, I was in union leadership for 26 years at CPS. Sean writes, here we go, the brother that capes for the oppressor. You talking about drop? Brian writes, surprise, surprise, drop is anti-union. Before unions, bosses could tell workers how long to work and fire them for no reason. They can still do that. Let me see. Kamara writes, does he support the right to work? I missed this, Kamara. Lynn writes, when big tax cuts come for corporations, they all get a cut. Glenn writes, I dance for the man. Roy writes, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Roy. Good morning to you. Kendall Griffin's in the house. Good to see you, Kendall G. She writes, good morning. I think that's what she's saying. Brian writes, so do they or don't they? He just went through the boss's argument against the union. Then he said he is the example of the person who is the one not pulling the weight. Jenny writes, your individual abilities do help you excel. Yeah, he said it doesn't. Yeah, you just can't go on the job and just be a schlump and move forward. I don't believe that. Kamara called it. She writes, what? That didn't make sense. She called it. Yo writes, preach, drop. Mike Rogers writes, this dude's opinion is jaded. Who hurt that dude? Nikki writes, best call from him ever. Really? That's the best call? Oh, that's hilarious. Janice writes, poor employees are able to stay only because of poor management. The union contract does not guarantee a person's job if they violate it. There is a career leader in most union contracts. Dropping butter biscuit. That's hilarious. Kamar writes, here we go. Dave Chappelle would drag Damon Wayans. That would be super fun. See, I'd be there. I'd watch that. I've enjoyed some of the verses. I think it's a great idea. I can't say enough how it's just like some of the best ideas are just simple. Some of the most genius ideas are somebody says, you know what, let's just get two artists of the same genre, maybe the same era, and put them on stage together. And then you're going to bring the fans of both of the artists to the audience. That's dope. I can see them doing that, like doing a tour with that, and then still live streaming it. I could definitely see that. That'll be super dope. Good morning to you. Let me see. Marisha. Let me see. Dave will kill Chappelle for the win. I love them both, but Dave Chappelle already won. He already won. Damn. Regina writes, Dave Chappelle. Chappelle will smoke Wayans. I think we all agree with that. Lisa writes, that would be no competition. Dave, period. How would they do it? Would it be like somebody comes in and does like a 5-minute set or 3-minute set, and somebody else comes in and does a 3-minute set? How would they do it exactly? I'm trying to conceptualize it. Like, how would it actually work? I don't know. Nikki writes, I would love to see it. Yeah, me too. Brenda writes, I would love to see it. Brian writes, Damon is slapstick. Dave is cerebral. Okay. I'm with you on that. TNT writes, they both goofy as hell. They should roast each other. It should be like a roast. Now that would be interesting. What's up, Charles? Good to see you, brother. Pamela writes, the best versus battle was Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight, two musical artists that showcased their catalog and reminisced about being on the road. No competition between them. You're right. That was one of the better ones. You're right about that. It was. I even tapped into that one. Brian writes, it's not even 30, by the way. I thought he said 478. That means they're down 22 drivers. Ridiculous. Is that what he's saying? Hold on, let me go back here. I still got it pulled up. Let me see what he said.
We planned out a year. So in other words, this year we would keep what we got and then start planning whatever change that would be possible. Because this is a lot of changes that parents got to deal with. So if you're saying that you couldn't even extend a year and do proper planning and partnerships to phase it in?
Because of the challenges with the labor shortage that we're facing, again.
Can you expand on what the labor shortage is? Where were you and where are you now as far as staff?
We were at 500 operators. We're now down, and it changes on a daily basis. We're now down to about 470 operators. The other thing we're facing,
yeah, he
because
said
of the COVID
470
situation,
operators. So, you know, they're down about, I mean, 8 operators here or there. I mean, there is a difference, but yeah, he said 470, Brian. So down about 30 operators. Brian writes, I know brothers who would gladly go through the training if it was free and they paid them to go through CDL classes. Hard for people to take CDL training while working on other jobs. I can see that. Dante writes, Nate, as a 15-year Metro driver, I can honestly say they're lying to the public. What are they lying about, Dante? What are they lying about? Are they lying about the number of drivers that they're down? Is the number larger or less? Charles writes, there is a big shortage of drivers across the board. There is free CDL training courses at a community action agency. Is that right? Let me look this up real quick. Is that right? Look this up real quick. Let me see. Real quick, just give me a second. Shouldn't take too long. Is that a career pathways program? Is that what that is? In addition to truck driver training, our CDL program offers life skill training and other supportive services offered by CAA. So I just Googled that right in front of you. Career pathways, commercial driving license, CDL, truck driver training, not drunk driver training. Let me see. Take the wheel and start a new career through our commercial driver's license at CDL training program. Complete an application and interview. Attend a 1-week professional development training. Complete the truck driver course. Start your new career. So I don't know if this is free or not. I don't see it's free. But they definitely offer these services at the Community Action Agency. I'm on the website right now. Who told me that? Charles, thank you so much, Charles. Appreciate you. Bunky writes, Bush decimated the union jobs which would give blacks entry-level positions, which could raise a family substantially. This has almost eliminated the black middle class. Gladys writes, laughing already for the comedy verses. I like TNT's idea. It should be a roast. Now that would be funny. It should be a mixture of I like the idea of a roast because that's when you get the verses kind of feel to it. That could be, and then Damon Wayans in a roast, that levels the playing field a bit, I think. Kendall writes, don't sleep on Damon, though. Oh, absolutely not. Sister Iris is in the house. She writes, good morning, great people. Good to see you. Queen Maxine writes, Dave is the comedian skit king. Yes, he is. Pretty good at it. Bunky writes, Damon is more of a freestyle comedian. I think he would give Dave a run for his money. I think it would. Dante writes, they lying about everything. You said they lying about everything, huh? Well, let me check my messages here because I was in contact with a member of the sorter board, and I'm going to tap back into that to see what's going on. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Yeah. So let me see here. Okay. Well, maybe we'll get. I have to do this away from the microphone. I can't do this live. But let me see what I can find between today and tomorrow in terms of updates, and I'll share it with you as much as I can. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Kicking off today, talking about the Rona report. That's what I call it, the Rona report. I'll probably do this when there's things to report. But in the state of Ohio, guess what? Every county in Ohio is now an area of high transmission for the coronavirus. Every county. All of them, all 88. The infection rate in Ohio is at a level that has not been in since February of this year. All-time high. Let's go back to the phones, or yearly high. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. This is Deborah. I don't call in too often.
Hey, Deborah.
But I felt compelled to call in this morning, and I'm not defending Metro. I did work there for 30 years. Things changed. I don't know what they do now, but At the time when I was there, I was told, and I worked in purchasing, that for every bus on the road, it represents 4 bus drivers' jobs. With that said, if that's true now, then you're looking at 120 bus drivers short. I don't know if that's how they operate now, but when I was there, that's what I was told. And we had a lot of information that we would receive in purchasing because we were the department that ordered everything, parts, buses, everything. So I don't know, exactly with things the way they are now, if that's still a true statement. That may be something that someone may want to explore.
I'm trying to,
because that number of 30 drivers short, was it 30? I think it's 430 30 drivers short now.
right.
That to me would compute to 120. If
How do you get
like
that number?
for every route, like a regular route on the bus, I was told that it takes 4 drivers. I'm talking about changing, when they change the route, or like when one guy gets off a bus, another guy has to get on, that one guy's done his hours.
Right.
I don't know how that's broken down. I didn't work in that department. That would be planning and scheduling. But it may be something that someone may want to investigate, because this may be a little bit, maybe it's not being explained properly. If that be true, then that changes the dynamics of why they don't have enough drivers.
It would, but that doesn't compute in my head. So if every bus route takes 4 bus drivers
per bus,
and if we're 30 bus drivers short, that means we have to divide 30 by 4 to figure out how many buses are being affected by it. That's how I read those numbers.
Okay. See, I was looking at it as 4 times 30.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at the opposite way. So if
I mean, like I said again, I don't know how that's broken down at the transit. I don't know their knowledge of how they do that, but that's what I was thinking in my mind. But it may not be, it may not be accurate.
Right. Something to think about, though, Deborah.
30.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just read in my head, the numbers just came differently. I'm like, okay, so if every bus represents 4 bus drivers, it takes 4 bus drivers to do one route. And we're 30 bus drivers short. We got to divide that by 4 to figure out how many buses or routes are being affected by it. And what is that, roughly 7? That's roughly 7. 7 times 4 is 28. So 7 buses are being affected by this. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but that's just what jumped in my head. I'm no mathematician, but that's what jumped in my head. I'm like, okay, so that means that we got 7 routes that are affected by 30 bus drivers. I'm not looking at it the other way around, but maybe you tell me what you think. Joe writes about 8 buses, right? So that's how I look at it. That's what I'm saying. Greg writes, good morning, Chop Shop. Hey, good morning to you, Greg. Good morning to you. Hey, listen, folks, let me push away just for a second and give you a word from today's sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by my friends over at renewcommunitychurch.org. You can find them at their website. They have created a brand new series, and the purpose of it is to give people tools to live a better life, to deal with the struggles of life, and to be as excellent as possible. So check this out, and we'll come back and on the other side.
The words for today are better mental health. It takes 60 seconds for the universe, through the invisible law of attraction, to be fully activated in your life. God's invisible law of attraction is available to you today because you are just 60 seconds away from better mental health. Take the next 60 seconds and improve your mental health by telling a mental health story for 60 seconds 3 times a day for 21 days. Why 21 days? Because that's how long it will take to change your life. Now say this mental health story out loud 3 times a day. It is my divine and human right to embrace inner peace, calmness, and happiness today. I confess that my mind is calm and alert and sharp and focused. I focus on what I really, really want today. Today, I allow love, joy, peace in my life. For a free ebook and coaching, visit renewcommunitychurch.org.
Take it personal, I ain't lying, I ain't hiding, I've been grinding, multiplying. I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up. meditating and taking time away. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. Hey. Taking just to be and live my life. Don't take it personal. We just building. It's my season. Lay foundation. Make a name for generations. Please and make a and take a break or a little vacation and chasing blues away. Hey, hey. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning, or look like you always be working, soaking the moments you live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. I'm in a place serene and pure and free. Hey, I ain't worried about what's the wave, only worry about me. Yeah. Oh, I'm taking time out to be and live my life off screen.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Hopefully you're living your best life. Good morning to you. My name is Nathan Ivey. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, as I'm sure you know. That's probably why you're here. Although it happens daily, man, where people just come across the show on Spreaker or TuneIn or YouTube. If you haven't already done so, if you're a YouTube type of person, hit me with a subscription. I don't know where sure I am. I was approaching 700 subscribers. The first goal for any YouTuber is 1,000 subscribers. And I just plan to put more attention into it because I like the platform. I like the platform a lot. It's a lot of fun. Good morning to you. It allows people to see your show that normally wouldn't even see the show. As is the same way with Facebook. Good morning to you. So this morning, we've been talking about numerous things, as always, getting you ready for that first day of school, which is tomorrow. And how do I feel as a parent? I am concerned. I'm concerned about the spread of COVID, how it might impact my children. I'm concerned about how the busing situation is going to impact Medium Buddha because she will have to catch the bus. I just want everybody to be, as safe as possible. I'm concerned about how my kids are going to interact with their new teachers. I'm concerned about that because sometimes these teachers be on some BS. I know a lot of good teachers, a lot of good people, but sometimes it happens. So you never know what that mix is going to be like, right? You get comfortable with the relationship that you have with your kid's teacher, and then you got to go to a whole new set of teachers. And, teachers are like what they said life is on Forrest Gump in that movie is you never know what you're going to get. You have no idea. So those are my thoughts. I'm excited. My daughter's super excited. My son's excited. So their excitement fuels me a little bit. But those are my honest thoughts the day before school. Let's go to the phones here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Fame. Good morning.
That's absolutely wonderful to hear. However, I heard that somebody called me, told me you was talking shit earlier about me.
Really? I don't remember saying anything about you. What
I said you said my name, talking about Cam again.
Yeah. I said that you was wrong, and I gave you an opportunity to be a man. You didn't take it. That the regular shit. I told you this.
Okay. Well, we go with that nonsense again. But all I gotta say is, on Twitter, you can look me up at #ThanksCam. He messed this up for us. There's a Twitter hashtag. It is honor. Thanks Cam on Twitter.
We should be thanking Cam.
Now, no, yeah, we should be, because he took our tax money for an organization who doesn't care about us, who clearly doesn't care about us. And the reason I called was that last lady's call, Miss Brenda Early, because it kind of threw me. She's talking about the
Deborah.
Huh?
I thought it was Deborah.
Oh, Deborah. I'm sorry. I'm whoever it was. I apologize. But she kind of threw me when she said that means that number represents 4 people per bus. That's BS if Metro's sending out information like that. That's intentionally misleading. Their operational lingo is not our concern. You got to talk to us directly, the taxpayer. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to be coy and use all your lingo and all this other backdoor stuff that you do when talking to us. So that just makes it more of their fault, because if they do that, they're being intentionally misleading. Do you understand?
I understand what you're trying to say.
By having us think it's 30 drivers and saying and then not telling us that, each bus represents four drivers, 4 driving spots. Like, that doesn't make sense for you to do that to us. And for the record, Dave Chappelle would wash Damon Wayans. Washing. I'm telling you, the Wayans family is totally overrated when it comes to comedy. It's just a bunch of them.
Really?
They're not funny. They're just crude and obnoxious.
Really?
They're not funny.
You don't think
them guys ain't never told them guys never told none of them have ever told a funny joke in their life.
That's not true. Damon Wayans
is excellent stand-up. I don't think so. I don't think he's funny at all. Like I said, he's just crude and obnoxious. White Chicks is the dumbest movie I've ever seen, but it's like the talk of Twitter. Like, huh? And scary, all their scary movies. Even their parodies are they're not funny. They are not funny people.
You telling me Major Payne wasn't funny?
Okay, there's an exception to every rule. Some people got 6 toes.
I mean, what about...
You know what I'm saying?
What about Mo Money,
Nothing else they've done.
What about Mo Money?
No, that was whack. That was whack.
Mo Money was classic. What are you talking about?
That was whack 90s comedy, whack black hip hop house comedy. It was just not funny.
Mo Money.
I'm sorry.
Hilarious.
No. I'll give you Major Payne. That's hilarious.
Okay.
Low Down Dirty Shame. Whack.
Low Down.
You know what I'm saying? All they movies.
That was the older brother. That was decent. That was decent. Low Down Dirty Shame was decent.
These guys are they're just crude. You just don't know what they'll say. It's always shocking, but they're genuinely not funny. Overrated comedians. It's just a bunch of them. That's all.
You never watched
That's why the one dude. That's why the one dude tried to be a DJ.
Did you ever watch the Wayans Brothers sitcom?
Yes, I did. After a while, they started doing direct rip-offs of Martin episodes. How do you do an episode where Sean somehow gets lost, or the goofy one, the quirky one, gets lost and then gets found, wearing dreads and like joining some cult? Martin just did that the year before.
What about My Wife and Kids?
That was a dead rip-off.
What about My Wife and Kids? That was a television series.
I thought it was more good than funny. I thought it told good stories more than it was funny. Because it was hard to see Gina. It was hard to see Gina as somebody else's wife. Bad casting.
What about Don't Be a Menace?
You know what I'm saying?
What about Don't Be a Menace?
God, that's the dumbest fucking movie. Oh, sorry, excuse me. That is the dumbest movie ever.
It's a parody.
That's dumber than White Chicks.
White Chicks had
it's dumb.
Moments,
it's not even close to funny. It's not even close to funny.
Man, that scene in White Chicks when Terry Crews was on the dance floor after he took them drugs was hilarious. That's classic. Again.
Some people have 6 fingers and toes. There's an exception to every rule.
Okay,
but generally, that was 2 hours of a waste of your time, except for that 2 minutes. Except for that one little 2 minutes.
That shit was hilarious, though, for those 2 minutes.
But listen, that's all I got. I just wanted to really, that Metro story is really chapping my ass right now. So that's all I got, and we'll talk soon, B. Oh!
Appreciate the call. He says he ain't feeling the Wayans brothers. Okay. I think they are very talented. And then, you know, what's so funny about this is he missed probably one of the most iconic, television comedy shows ever, which is In Living Color. You so wrong about this. Number one, In Living Color was seminal. And then Damon Wayans was across the board super dope in it with all the different characters that'll go down at all time. And you ain't even bring that up, man. Trying to ish on them. Stop ishing on the family. Stop ishing on Black excellence. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's up, Nate? It's from Atlanta. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Who is this now?
Daryl.
Hey, what's up, Daryl?
What's up? Hey, I just called in real quick to check that wolf ass back in his cage. Back in his cave, man. You notice he hating on the Wayans family, just like the last caller said. Man, they like you said, the iconic In Living Color show, that alone speaks for the family. But, again, Fame talking out the side of his neck. He needs to go howl at the sun, howl at the moon, go crawl up in his cave, go stay to himself. And really, Nate, you know what this is all about? He knows he likes Blaine and Antoine. He just don't want to admit it. Peace out.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, how you going to call in here and ish on the Wayans and not talk about In Living Color? Damon Wayans and all them different characters, man, he helped to make that show. That's one of the greatest sitcom show. It was sketch comedy shows ever. Name me a better sitcom, situation comedy, sketch comedy show ever, other than In Living Color. And it was just so timely, man. Remember they had the Fly Girls. They used to have like hip hop artists come on. It was just a fusion of culture. Like that shit was super dope, man. Like Daryl just said, they get props just off that. Some of the movies haven't been like laugh out loud funny, but how many great comedies have there really been in general? You know what I'm saying? I might be getting myself in trouble with that last question there, but he hating, man. Stop hating. Darlene writes, I loved In Living Color. That was a show. So many comedians came from that show. All of them. Jim Carrey came from that show. Yeah, so many. Jennifer Lopez came from that show. She wasn't even a comedy. Brenda writes, Homie, don't play that. Iconic. Homie the Clown? Homie the Clown? Amina writes, Scary Movie 1 and 2 are classics. Scary Movie 1 and 2 were the ones that the Wayans brother worked on. There is a YouTube video in which Marlon is talking about how the studio stole basically the idea from them and then pushed them out and then put other people in there as the producers, and it went down. It wasn't as good. What's he talking about? Terrence writes, Fire Marshal Bill, let me show you something. Tracy writes, In Living Color was epic. In Living Color was you had to watch that. If you was from a certain area, you had to watch it. You had to watch it. You wasn't watching it, then you didn't know what was going on at the water cooler. You ain't had nothing to talk about. Patricia writes, and Jamie Foxx. That's right. That's right. So I'm not going to issue on the Wayans, man. I think they're a very talented family. All of them. All of them are very talented. Has everything been a 100% hit? No. No, it hasn't. So it's being reported, not sure if you heard about this before, but there was an incident in downtown Cincinnati where people were being shot with BB guns. It's being reported that all of the people involved are now serving jail sentences. And it's like, this is what you want to do with your day? This is what you want to do with your day? You want to get a BB gun and shoot what? Folks you don't know? Where is this funny at? Like, where is this funny? Like, who's sitting around like, yeah, this is gonna be dope. An idle hands, the devil's playground. I mean, that is true in some cases. It really is. So CPD doing his job in that case. 513-873-7134 if you'd like to share your thoughts. I've gone all this way and haven't even jumped over to the choppers. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the choppers. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the choppers. Pamela writes, good morning, Nate and the choppers. Good morning, everybody. Ray writes, good risings all. Speaking of Alicia Reese, she writes, she's playing no games. Ray writes, DeWine doesn't want that gang that went to Washington to come to the governor's mansion. Speaking of which, it came out over the weekend or early in the week that Mike DeWine, the governor of Ohio, was mentioned by some of the same extremists who were plotting to kidnap and possibly kill Gretchen Whitmer, who is a white female Democrat. She's a governor of Michigan. Remember this plot the FBI uncovered last year in which the good old boys was going to kidnap her and then they were going to hold her for trial. They was going to put her on trial for crimes against, whatever, because she had a mask mandate in the state of Michigan. Well, it came out that some of these same extremists were targeting Mike DeWine as well. Their plan was to do the same thing to Mike DeWine as they were planning to do to Gretchen Whitmer, which was to kidnap and do whatever. Now, I'm glad it didn't happen because you're going too far with that. But let's just look at the minds of some people in this country. Just look at them, man. It's crazy. James in the house, she writes, good morning. TNT writes, they are brilliant and they keep come up with epic ideas like this verses for comedians. Right. Good point. Cincy Tigers writes, it's all fun and games until somebody gets seriously hurt. I never did no shit like that. Like if one of my homies was like, let's get a BB gun and go shoot some people. Now we can get a BB gun and go shoot some rabbits or birds or something like that. I did all of that. We used to make little things and shit and, go, that's what kids do. Go try to see if we can hit squirrels and all that kind of stuff. That's good wholesome fun. All right. Again, I was a kid then, so don't hold me to your adult animal rights sensibilities. I don't need the animal rights people down my ass. But I'm just saying, human beings, I don't get it. Terrence writes, they were just recently sentenced. The instances happened months ago. Absolutely. I just saw that. Well, I saw it early in the week, and it's been on my list of things to share with you. So I wanted to put it out there. Looking at the time here, we're coming up on 9:30, which is when I'm going to tap out and say happy hump day to you. Hope you have an excellent Wednesday. And I plan to be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning. We'll chop it up again on people, politics, and pleasure. I'll give you the Rona report and keep you up to date on what's going on in that world. And in general, we'll talk about things that are interesting and relevant. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. So again, please, if you haven't done so already, hit me with a share. When you share this show, more people see it. It means everything. And please like it. It means everything when you do so. And we'll be back tomorrow, bright and early, all right? Have an excellent rest of your Wednesday. Remember our motto. I'll say it together. Winners focus on winning. And losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning. And we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.